Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. We are now in the middle of an Iber year, a leap year, Shnas HaIbur, and next week is Purim Cotton. It's a small Purim. Yud Daled Oder Aleph is Purim Cotton. A month later is called Purim Gadol. So it says in Sfarim that on a leap year we need a special shmira, a special protection. It's a difficult year, it's a challenging year, and it's a heavy year. And I heard from Elter Chassidim that the Rabbeim were always afraid of a Shnas HaIbur, of a leap year. So on a leap year, Yidden should try to be extra careful in Ahavas Yisrael and to prevent negativity and to always look the schus of all of Yidden. And as the Rebbe says in some letters I saw, also I think in the Sikha, it says Shishim Yoim Mevatel Bilti Ritzuyim. Shnas HaIbur is 60 days. There's two others. Every month is 30 days. So it's 60 days. And 60 days nullifies any negative effects. It's Batel B'Shishim. So the Rebbe tried to counteract the negative impact of the year. And it's Mazel, the Rebbe gave brachas. Adar is a Chodesh of Mazel, and there's two Mazels. So he gave always brachas because this year we have to be careful. The month of Shnas HaIbur. And we do see Takeh by the Rebbe what happened on the Shnas HaIbur. We see Tovshin Lamed Ches was Shnas HaIbur, and the Rebbe had then a heart attack. And I think that Tovshin Chov Daled, I think Chov Daled was also a Iber year. The Rebbe then also had a heart attack, a minor heart attack. I'm not sure. But Lamed Ches he did. And also Tovshin Nun Beis, exactly 30 years this month, the Rebbe had a stroke. So this is the month that we have to be very careful. The Rebbe said also, Purim Cotton has an advantage over Purim Gadol. Even though Purim Gadol, next month, Purim Gadol, we read the Megillah, and we send Shalach Manes, and Maton L'Slev Yenim, and Sudas Purim, but it has an advantage. Purim Cotton has an advantage. What's the advantage? That in 19 years, there's 19 Purim Gadols. Every year there's Purim. But there's only 7 Purim Cottons. There's 7 times Purim Cotton. So Purim Cotton is not an often guest. It's not an often oirach. And we welcome Purim Cotton, which should welcome with extra enthusiasm because it's an oirach. Oirach is a guest. When a guest comes, and especially not an often guest, so we always welcome with more enthusiasm. Now here it reminds me on a story. It's talking about an oirach, a guest, that Rabbi Mindel, who was the Rebbe's maskir, used to go in 3 times a week to take dictation. He saw the Rebbe 3 times a week, sometimes even more. He spoke to the Rebbe on the telephone when he was in Long Beach many times. But when the Rebbe had the stroke, he didn't feel to see the Rebbe. He just didn't want to. You can imagine working with the Rebbe for almost 50 years on one table, writing all Hagoas. The Rebbe is fighting from Kahos and letters and other things. And here the Rebbe cannot speak, and the Rebbe is in a situation, the Rebbe wasn't well, so he just didn't feel, he couldn't go into the Rebbe. Excuse me. So he was waiting for the opportunity. The Rebbe would become better and he'll go into the Rebbe. So after 5 months, the Rebbe felt a little better. And so he went into the Rebbe, and he says to the Rebbe, I'm a guest, I'm an oirach. And he says to the Rebbe, oirach is oir ches. Oir means light. Ches, the eighth light, the eighth bracha should light on you. What is the eighth bracha? The eighth bracha in Shemona Esrei is Rifa'enu Hashem, meaning that the Eibusher should put to give you a refuah shleima. So he told me that his face shined up so much, he never 50 years didn't see his face lit up with a simcha, with a smile, when he heard the word oirach oirches. So we see from here that an oirach, a guest, can give a refuah. So since Purim Cotton is in Shnasa Ibor, it's oirach. So I want to wish a refuah shleima. A few people asked me that I should mention a refuah shleima. Meir Yehuda Yisrael ben Bina should have a refuah shleima. Chana bas Etel, Liebe bas Rose, Shneur Zalman bas Beila Peshe, Chaim Levi ben Chana, Shmuel ben Rocheleya, Refolze ben Rikel, Chaya Sore bas Sheva, Golda Etel bas Shalamis, Leah, Velva Wolf ben Leah, and Besech Shar Choli Yisrael, that everybody should have a refuah shleima b'koriv mamish. Looking back exactly 30 years ago, Tovshin Nun Beis, we can now see and try to understand what happened in Tovshin Nun Beis. What the Rebbe said, what the Rebbe did, then we didn't realize it was different the year Tovshin Nun Beis, till the Rebbe had a stroke. From the beginning, Tishrei, the Rebbe had a stroke in Adar Aleph, Chav Zayin. But from Tishrei, there was a different kind of anhaga. And the Rebbe prepared himself to this situation. Now, whether the Rebbe knew he would have a stroke or not, I don't know. But I do know that there was a Maaseh from the Rebbe Rashab, that somebody asked the Rebbe Rashab, I heard it from my Zayde, somebody asked the Rebbe Rashab about his father, whether he should travel to Eretz Yisrael, I think, with a plane or with a ship. I don't remember exactly. The Rebbe Rashab told him to travel, I don't know which one, but he did not listen, and something happened to his father. So the son came over to the Rebbe Rashab and said to him, Rebbe, if you would have told me that something would happen, I would never let my father do what he did, or go with a ship or a plane. I don't remember exactly. So the Rebbe Rashab answered, Gleib mir, ich hab allein nicht gewusst, aber am izogt darf man folgen. Believe me, I didn't know myself. But am izogt, when we say, you have to listen. So I don't know the preparation before Chav Zayin or Dar Aleph. I don't know whether the Rebbe knew what's going to happen or not. But the Rebbe's anhagya was completely different. I know that before Yom Kippur War, the Rebbe gave out dimes to children. The Rebbe, I think, said he didn't, he just gave out, and it says, children can help in Milchama. I don't think the Rebbe even knew there's going to be a Milchama. But a Rebbe zogt, or the tut, is min hashomayim. That Shechina medaberes mit der Greine shel Moshe. So I will just mention a few things, the anhagya of the Rebbe, from Chodesh Tishrei Tovshin Nun Beis. And the anhagya was completely different than all the years. But I'll just mention one thing. Sukkot, the first day Sukkot, usually, the Rebbe came in the morning, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. He went into his sukkah and he benched Esrig Lulav, and then he gave the Esrig Lulav to the Meir Harlik. He should have a refuah shleima. And then everybody benched on the Rebbe's Esrig Lulav. And when it came about 10:30 or 11 o'clock, when it's time to say Hallel, So he brought the Asrik Lulav back to the Rebbe. The last Sukkot, the Rebbe came in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock I think. The Rebbe opened the door of the Sukkah. And the Rebbe was standing, watching everyone go in and bench Esrig and Lulav. It was like a yichidus. The Rebbe was looking at each and every one, I remember. And this was 8 o'clock in the morning. The Rebbe was standing the whole time, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I think 3 o'clock. And the Rebbe didn't have Shachris yet. It was very strange. We didn't know. But we see that this is the last Sukkot that we can bench with the Rebbe's Esrig Lulav. This was a Hachoneh. Also, it came Kislev, the Kinus HaShluchim, Chov Beishvat, the Kinus HaShluchis. The Rebbe gave a special kuntris. The Rebbe gave cake. The Rebbe used to give lekach every Erev Yom Kippur and to the Orchim and Shana Rabbah. The coming year, the Rebbe would, after the stroke, would not give lekach. So I guess the Rebbe gave lekach then. Gimel Shvat. The Rebbe spoke that Gimel Shvat a few weeks before the stroke. He spoke about a speech that the Frierdiker Rebbe couldn't speak. The Eibishter took away his speech, and I'm not going to go into the whole sikha. You can look it up. Also, the Rebbe couldn't speak. This is what happened with the stroke. Purim Cotton, Tovshin Nun Beis. The Rebbe gave a kuntris with $2 and cake, and inside a piece of cake. Here is the kuntris which we got from the Rebbe. This is the kuntris. The last kuntris that the Rebbe gave. And this was a kuntris, a mimer, that was said, Yud Adar Rishon Tovshin Mem Aleph. And the Rebbe gave it out in Tovshin Nun Beis. And here we have $2 that the Rebbe and a piece of cake. And this kuntris is about his kashrus to a tzaddik, his kashrus to a Rebbe. I mean, this obvious. Now we see what the Rebbe meant, but then we didn't know what was happening. Pasha Kisiso, the Rebbe gave this out, and a week later, Pasha Vayagel was the last Farbringen that the Rebbe Farbringt, and the Rebbe left us. I think this is a tzavoy of the Rebbe, Balpeh. The Rebbe spoke about Avas Yisrael, he spoke about giving tzedakah, and he gave out the kuntras. Meaning these three things the Rebbe left us with. And I think Monday he had a stroke. This was the last Shabbos. Now, by the way, the Rebbe's Hanhogis, we can see also, when the Rebbetzin passed away, 6 years later was Gimel Tammuz. 6 years later. So from the time the Rebbetzin passed away, the Hanhogis of the Rebbe changed. The Rebbe stopped for bringing, except on Shabbos. I mean, the Rebbe used to bring Beis Tammuz, Yud Shvat, Yutas Kislev, Purim, no more. The Rebbe also stopped letters. There was certain letters, and I think we spoke once about it. I'm not going to go over how the letters went, the Michtavim Klolim, then through Rabbi Mindel. I don't want to go into exactly how it went, but it was a change. And here we saw a change. I think that Tzemach Tzedek, the same name as the Rebbe, Tzemach Tzedek's wife was the same name as the Rebbetzin, and I think it was also 6 years later was the Istalkus of the Tzemach Tzedek after his wife passed away, I think. Anyways, so that we didn't realize. Now, one more thing, also very strange. The Rebbe used to be Mekadosh Levana every month. Kiddush Levana. The last month, Odar Aleph, the month of the stroke, he was not Mekadosh Levana. And it says it's for him that Kiddush Levana has to do with health. Bifrat with teeth. A refuah for teeth. And that's why I remember when the Rebbe was a Kaddish Levana, he always used to touch his lips, always like that. He used to make like that. because it has to do with refuah for teeth. And that last Adar Aleph, the Rebbe did not Mekadosh Levana. All these things are a chone, a preparation for the stroke before. We didn't know anything. And this is our avodah today. The Rebbe left us. It's tzedakah. Tzedakah doesn't mean giving only charity. Of course it means tzedakah, charity, money. Tzedakah means righteousness. The Rebbe left us. Do the right thing for the right reason. Kindness, goodness. Ahavas Yisrael. This is what he spoke of Vayakhel, Pasha Vayakhel. Ahavas Yisrael, no machlekes. And also he gave us the kunters to show the kunter, the last thing. This is the connection between us and the Rebbe, between the Rebbe, the Rebbe is Mekasher Astur Eibishter, like it says in the Torah, Uledovka boy. It says in Dvarim, you should be connected, Mekusher, to the Eibishter. How? Mahu Rachum, Afata Rachum, Mahu Chanun, Afato Chanun. This Eibishter has Rachmanis. We should be like the Eibishter. So when we say the word is kashrus, some people, what does it mean is kashrus? And we once spoke about it. Some people say it's kashrus means that you have to learn the Rebbe's Torah, which is right, which that is supposed to be. But I think the most thing is kashrus. Do like the Rebbe. Do like the Rebbe's Hanhoga. Firzach wie der Rebbe. It's unbelievable, Poshet. It's already almost 30 years now. Almost 30 years of Gimel Tammuz. And we want to see the Rebbe Poshet Begashmius. So I would like to say that Rebbe Shizal Helfen that through the tzedakah and through Ahavas Yisrael and his kashrus to the Rebbe, it should bring Mashiach, and the Rebbe will have a lot of nachas from us, and we should have answers from the Rebbe, not answers through a nigras kodesh that we put in and we get an answer, and some people are satisfied with that. That shouldn't be. We need mamish the Rebbe in a guf gashmi to come down. Next week we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.